Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Professor Sistron, and I'm reaching out to the student body. Okay, students, I'm having a little bit fun today, so I thought I'd jump in here and run through the video. Now, we are in the 4th week of the semester. Most of you are way ahead of where I'm starting off. The reason I'm starting off right here at the beginning of the first video is because I want to make sure that you guys had a chance to do the work before I start running videos out, and then I won't be able to say, oh, they just watching me do it and they doing what I'm doing. No, I want you to get a chance to get this experience so you can be able to go out there and do the work. So what I'm gonna do is see if I can catch up to you in my videos, produce one hopefully every day and try to catch up with you. Now, I know you're doing a lot of work. You got multiple classes, you got a lot of things going on, but I want to explain some of the things that you may not know that we do in the industry, so you can get a real good view of what we actually do when it comes to the industry. Like, for example, we talk about Hyper-V, we talk about virtual machines, we talk about servers, but do you really know that's basically the same thing? All these devices have different names, but we really saying the same thing. A server can either be a machine or it can be a software application. It can be the hardware or the software. A server has an operating system on it, preferably a network operating system and just not a standalone operating system. The way Microsoft sell these things, or anybody selling a server, they want to make sure it's a networking operator. But we use the term server loosely, okay? Because it can be a physical machine or it can be a piece of software. But now, what you need to understand is this. On these servers, we can have multiple operating systems, and we put them on there by using something that is called a Hyper-V, okay? Now, we're not going to go in too much into the details of what a Hyper-V is, but just know it's a way to allow multiple operating systems to be on one device, okay? But in truth, I can take a laptop and make it a server. It's not really a server because it's supposed to be a robust, powerful machine, but we can put the operating system, the server operating system on the laptop. But we're not gonna go all into that, and I hope I didn't confuse you. But just remember that Hyper-V is something that is placed onto a server to have multiple operating systems, network operating systems on there that allows us to manage the corporation or the company. Now, with all that being said, I know it was a lot that I just said. Those are things that I want to talk about particular. Now, I know I went a little bit too far with that, but I want to talk about the particular things that you need to be aware of when you're inside of the industry. And so let's go forward. So as you can see right now, I am on your very first lab. Now, the reason I come back to these labs is because I want you to build this in your mind. You cannot do these labs once. You got to do the labs as many times as it will take for you to remember how to do it. Yeah, I know a lot of people tell you, well, you can just go do a little research and figure it out, but you don't want to be in front of your managers, people you work for, constantly researching stuff to figure out the most simple and basic stuff. You just want to remember how to do it. And that's why you have to keep coming back to make sure you understand how to do it. And it's no shame in going back to do this. This is what we do. We do it a lot of times to make sure we lock it in our brains. People may not tell you that. They may say, oh, the first time I did it, I understand it. No, no, no. You have to go back over and over again to remember it. That's one of the main reasons that I am coming back to these labs, because I want to make sure people understand them. Now, in this particular lab, I'm going to go ahead and right click here and go to settings. Now, you have a cell phone, and by you having a cell phone, you know that the settings on your cell phone is one of the most important things that you will use. It's the same thing with a computer. The settings is where we go and modify and make changes and fix problems on our computers. As you can see right here, this settings actually lays out all the devices that you would need. We call them tools. So you'll be able to click in here and make changes. The first thing it wants me to do is go up here and answer a question. So I'm going to answer this question right here. I see that I got desktop here. I see that I have notifications. Do I have power? I have power. Do I have time and date? No time and date, but I do have remote. There is the remote right there. So that's all we want to do is remind you where to go to fix the problems you may have with a PC on a network or your home PC. So when you're at home, like I said before in another video, try these out. So now you did that. Also, you can go make changes. For instance, if I click on personalization, I can go here and make changes here, but I'm not going to make changes here because I'm not going to change the background. Now, here's a pro tip. Corporations tend to set the computers up the way they want them to look, but employees come in and make changes. And when they make those changes, it causes problems on the network. So you need to know how to get in here and come back and change it back when an employee do this. They're not a bad person, but still you need to do that. Now I'm going to go and see if it's another question I have to answer, and it is. So I'm going to go ahead and choose colors. If you notice, I'm not reading the questions because I know you know the questions, but the questions are basically asking me what devices are in here. So I see background, I see colors, and that's pretty much it. I don't see anything else. Windows updates and apps, I don't see that. Okay, but you should know where Windows update and apps are located. So I'm gonna close that. So that takes care of that. Now, I may want to make some changes. As you can see, I'm gonna pull this down here and make sure I'm looking at the actual changes. Here go a change right here in power. So I'm gonna go back to power. I'm gonna go back to the settings and I'm gonna click on power. And in power, you got screen and sleep. So I'm gonna click on that and I'm gonna change that to 30 minutes. Now, here's another pro tip. In a corporation, especially a place like a bank, we would not set our computer to shut down in 30 minutes because that will cause problems. Because if I walk away from my desk and my computer is up, someone can come over there and get the information. What we teach employees is to do when they leave a desk to lock their computers right then and there. That's a pro tip that you will need to know, because no one should just walk away from their desk and leave their screen open. They should be in the habit of locking their computer when they walk away. And yeah, we penalize them for not doing that. But anyway, so that's how you can change the setting. Now at home, you can change your screen settings to whatever you want to change it to. But in the real world, don't do that. And when I say the real world, I'm talking about working in the corporate world. Don't do that. Okay, so we took care of that. So let's just look back at a few things that we already taken care of. We locked that out, which is clicking on settings. We locked out the power screen, and then we did the personalization stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and close the settings. Okay, so settings is closed now. That puts us on 5, so we're gonna come click start. And from start, we're going to go to the control panel. So I'm going to type in con, and I'm going to go ahead and click on. Once you type in con, it's going to bring up control panel or something close to that. And then you just go ahead and click on open. Now this is the control panel right here. Now we're not going to do anything in here, but this is where you can do a lot of changes too. Just like in the settings, you can do it here. Back in the day, I was taught to always use it by clicking on the icons. This is the way I learned how to do it. It was easy and simple, but you won't be using large icons or small icons, because you will be going to the category, and that's where you'll be choosing everything from. And it doesn't matter which way. So if you do see it the other way, it's the same thing. Just be able to click on whatever you need to change. Now it says here, leave this panel open. I'm gonna leave it open, and I'm gonna go to the next question, which is 5. Okay, so in 5 it says from the top left, select administrator. I'm gonna come up here to IT administrator, select that. Okay, once I click on that, that gives me a view of what we would call the workspace or the desktop, places where you'll do your work here. I'm gonna go up here and check the answer, and it says here how many devices. I saw that it was 2 computers, a desktop computer and a laptop computer. So I saw that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and close that. And now you can see the desktop and the laptop computer. But this is just a way to get you familiar with working with these particular devices. Like you can see that we got extra hardware in here. You can flip it around to the back side and look in here. You can even look at the motherboard if you wanted to, and there go the motherboard. So this is just a way for you to get familiar with the different device while you are in this class. Okay, let's go ahead and click on the Windows 11, and you can see it takes us right back to the actual control panel. That's where we were. We're back there. Let's see if we got any questions to check. Let's go up here, and we see it says, what is the name of the lobby computer? Well, I'm not there at the lobby computer, so I'm gonna come back because it wants me to go there. And I'm just gonna shrink this back down, and I'm gonna go up here and click on floor 1. Now once I click on floor 1, that shows me the lobby right here. So now I can go ahead and get that name, and I'm gonna click right here, and it shows me the name right there, and I chose it. That was another way of getting to the actual office itself. So I want you to take some time to look around at this when you come back and do this lab over again, so you can get a bird's eye view of the particular lobby. That's important. As you can see the IT administrator section, you can see the network closet, you see the entire office, and that's important. And you can actually click on these computers and go inside of them and do some work on them if you chose to. So that took care of that. Now we're gonna come down and we're gonna go mess around with the VM. So in the VM, we're going to click on floor 1, which that's where we're at now, right? And we're going to go over to the networking closet and click on Corp Server right here, as you can see right here. Now in Corp Server, we just going to understand that you will be working with servers. You need to know just a little bit about servers. So once you click on the server, as you see, we got a Hyper-V server. These are all servers here. These are all virtual machines that's on one server. And in the corporation, you'll have multiple servers in there, physical boxes that have a lot of different operating systems on it, VMs on it, just like this, okay? In this case, we're gonna click on Corp DC, we're gonna double click on it, and that's gonna open up that server. That's what you'll do. You'll go in a particular server and open up one of them Hyper-V servers and begin to work on it. And you can see right here is stuff you can work on. For instance, I can go to Tools, and from Tools, I can come down here and select any one of these things here. In this particular case, I'm going to select Group Policy Manager, which is the policies that we put on computers that says this person can do that. For instance, what's the password policy? You know, how many characters in the password a person can use. So these are the policies. And I'm going to go to this particular forest. And then from the forest, I'm going to click on the domain. And from the domain, I'm going to click on here. And I can actually explore this particular policy. You can learn a lot about working on servers and PCs. This gives you the skills. This is what we call a network administrator or a system administrator. These are the people who do this type of work. They working on here. And it's point and click, but you got to make sure you know what you're doing so you don't click on the wrong thing. So now that we went inside a group policy and we open it up, we're going to leave that the way it is, and we're going to switch back to the IT admin. So I'm going to go back and click on floor 1. And from floor 1, it's going to give me this particular screen again. And from there, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the next question. But before I go to the next question, I want to make sure that you understand this. This is a graph that you will see in most corporations on how to move around inside of the corporation without actually having to run around to each office and see it. So you will see this a lot. Now, it's another way you can look at the graphic breakdown of the office, and that's clicking on Exhibit. Exhibit allows you to see everything else in the office, but it shows you from the point of view of a graph showing the wiring of that particular office, how the wires are set up. I'm gonna go check the answer question and see what we got in there, and we do have another question, and it asks us, what is the IP address of the ISP? So right here I see the ISP. Let me shrink that down a little, and it's 198.28.2.254. okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and choose that. So I'm gonna click on here, and I'm gonna click right here, and it gives me that graph right there. And I said graph, but I mean IP address. Okay, and I'm gonna score it now. And I'm gonna say score. Let's see how well I did on this. And as you can see, I got everything correct. And that's what you want to do. It walks you through each one of the steps that you already did, and you got everything correct. So this says score 7 out of 7. I just want to make sure you understand how to do this, and I'm gonna do every lab to catch up with you guys, to see if I can catch up with you guys. I know some of you moving out, y'all knocking it out the park. But my Linux students, I'm gonna do the same thing to them too. Go ahead and continue on with your work. Make sure you pay attention to this week, because there's a lot of things you got to do. But what's most important is try your best to find time to do these labs over again. This is Professor Sistrunk, and I will see you in the next video.